young girls on birth control?
Child. And then the question is like, they put us on birth control, but it's like, what is the lessons that are being instilled into their sons? Like, are you telling them to practice safe sex? What are y'all telling them? It's always on the women, but that's a whole, that could be like a, yes.
But that's what I'm saying, like, men don't have self-control.
Yeah.
So women, we have to control ourselves. Like, we really have to be the mature ones out here. Mm-hmm. Like, we have to be mature. Mm-hmm. You can't be immature. Just underdeveloped, and that's okay. That's okay. That you are not fully developed right now. So we have to, like, step up to the occasion to be like, no. Like,
yeah, say no.
Say no.
Say no.
You're not really going to benefit by giving them sex.
Yeah.
At all. Like, you're just going to enable him.
Yeah. And I'm just like, the whole idea of men not having self-restraint is backwards to me, because if you think about the nature of what a man's supposed to be, he's supposed to be a leader. He excels in his career. How do you do those things without having self-restraint? So it's like we expect them to have self-restraint or, you know, be disciplined in those other avenues, but when it comes to relationships or entering our bodies, we give them a pass. Like, you're an animal, your tendency is to have sex with multiple different women, just do it. Like, what? How does that make sense?
We really do. We give them so many passes, and we just accept the bare minimum, and we just allow it to happen. And I try to just have grace on them, and that's why I personally don't think they are ready for a romantic relationship. So that's why I'm not in one right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not ready for all that. You gotta really be their homie. You gotta really platonically be there for them. You gotta mother them back to life.
Yeah.
That's what they need.
They need therapy. I don't think it's anybody's job to have to do that. You know what I'm saying? It's not. And it took a while for me to understand that, because that was something within myself too, where I felt like with every partner I had, I felt this need to be able to vent to them about everything and like use them as a way to heal my past traumas, and that's not their job. You know what I'm saying? Like, go to a therapist. You're supposed to come into it as healed as you possibly can be. But I think that's what we're expecting out of one another. We expect that out of one another, but we're so resistant to therapy. You're essentially wanting therapy subconsciously from your partner instead of going to a professional.
Literally, like, you're a whole therapist. That's exactly why most people get into relationships, like, to like vent.
Yeah.
To like tell them all their business. Like, oh, somebody I can tell everything to and just be myself. And it's like, no, you
Then
really
that sound like me. I definitely be saying stuff like that, girl. Oh my God.
No, it's like, no, we need to go to a therapist or talk to God or hug a tree.
Right. Hug these trees over here, all these trees outside, goddamn.
That's what I think our generation more than ever, like, we shouldn't be focused on like romance. We really should like break these generational curses that we have been like into, like by our parents.
Yeah, generational curses, that's big for me. Like my experience, so I grew up with two parents, but like I told you, my dad was in and out, so a lot of it was just me being raised by my mom. And we never had talks about sex, like ever at all. And she was super strict. Like, I was the baby. I have a bunch of older siblings, and so she kept me caged in. I didn't even go on dates in high school.
You say
like,
caged in?
Yes, no dates. I didn't experience parties.
Oh, you used to look too good
like,
to be outside.
Yeah, but the problem with that is that when you are so guarded like that, and then you also don't have a male present to kind of show you the ropes, like, okay, this is what men are doing, you're lost, and you're kind of navigating things on your own. And that's how I felt for a very, very long time.
And now it's easy for other people when they first come into your life to just manipulate.
Yeah.
Like to show that they like you for a little bit.
Yeah.
Temporarily. To just temporarily be in your life.
So that's what's important to me. Like when I have children, if and when I have children, I think that I just want to have that, you know, have them where they feel like they're safe to talk to me, but also just putting them on game. Because it's like, by the time my mom, do you remember the show, what was it? 16 and Pregnant. Secret Life of the American Teenager.
Ooh.
So it was a show that was on like a reality TV show about this girl got pregnant in high school, so on and so forth. So it followed that. And so the show was like basically telling parents, like, talk to your kids about sex and things like that. You know how to give disclaimers at the end. So my mom is like, oh, so I think we should have a sex talk, because she saw that on TV. She's like, okay, don't have sex. That's our talk. Literally verbatim, I swear to God. And at that point, I was already having sex, which was the ironic thing about it. So if she had approached the conversation differently, I would have been open to say those things. But because she wasn't, I never told her anything.
She said, don't
have sex. And it's like, well, that's not realistic.
Ain't that crazy though? Like, the parents would tell us not to have sex, and knowing like we came from sex now. So what's the, you know?
Then I got here because you had sex. So why don't you teach me? Right,
so
teach me.
Really, what's about sex that you don't want me to have it?
Yeah. Girl. I don't know. So if you could tell your younger self one thing, as it were, multiple things as it relates to sex, what are some of the things that you would tell yourself?
Wow.
I know it's tough. Take a moment, think on it.
That is so real, because like your mama said, don't do it. Like, I really would tell myself to not think that sex equals love. It does not.
No, it does not. It's temporary feelings of false love, but not love.
And that's what lust is.
Yeah.
And we get so confused between like lust and love.
Yeah.
So we are really like lusting over someone, not really knowing how to genuinely love someone. Because lust is all physical. And when you really want to connect with like a soul, you don't need to be physical. Like, you can really just be yourself with them. And that's what more so I would tell my younger self, like, to focus on like platonic relationships. You don't even gotta get naked. Okay, you can really like build off of that so heavily, especially just even in the time that we're in. Like, men honestly don't need us to be popping it open for them. Like, they really got to get themselves right, and even women got to get that. We all got to get ourselves right. Sex, it's just making us more crazier. Like, it's making us crazy. Like, yo, let's keep this off the table and let's really be friends, so we don't have this like battle of the sexes. That's real. I can relate to that. If I had to give myself advice, it would be to wait, honestly, until you're more mature. Because being real, I don't think that good sex really starts happening until you're older anyway. Like seriously, like once I got to college and I actually encountered men who cared about the woman having pleasure as well, then I'm like, this is what it was. I could have waited all this time. What was I doing back then? You know what I'm saying? So I think that, one, just having the knowledge to see that there are some people that really care about your pleasure and others that don't, but also learn the importance of like pleasuring yourself too. Like, sex is something that I think a lot of women expect men to just do everything during sex, and I'm like, if you're gonna be in this intimate moment, be in that moment and really learn how to kind of get off on your own too. Like, that's huge. That's so liberating when you take your power back into your own hands to be like, this is my body. I should know my spots. I should know myself enough to not even rely on like an entity outside of myself. Because that's what a lot of people do after the club. Like, oh, I gotta call him. Like, girl, if you don't do the job, do the do yourself. What are we exchanging? We're exchanging energy. We're exchanging like chemicals. We're exchanging like our bodily fluids overall. And imagine like you just doing this with a dirty motherfucker. Like, they be dirty. And like, you're not even understanding what are they doing with their body behind closed doors. And you just so freely just sharing your body. That's why like the business that we're in right now, STDs is rapid fire. Because they see like everybody is just so dirty. I don't see that. And that's the beauty, honestly, of abstinence as well. Like, you don't got to worry about getting up from nobody, getting pregnant, the emotions that come with it. Like, you just feel so much peace. I feel so safe here.
Yo, so safe. In this safe space. Seriously, it's crazy. Oh, I do have a question for you though. So going back to pair bonding and this idea that, a woman who's been with multiple partners can't really emotionally connect to people. One, do you agree with that? But two, are you cautious of men who have also said that they have been with multiple, or were you, when you were in that space of having sex, were you cautious about men who had multiple partners because you noticed there was an emotional disconnect?
Wow. With personal experience, I feel like a lot of people are saying right now they want to tap into like their femininity, like they want to tap more into being feminine. And the reason why they feel so masculine, I believe, is because they are sharing their body with so many men. Like, that's the real reason. But men don't want to know about that. They don't want to talk about that. So imagine if she, like, separates herself and, like, goes outside in nature, like, just tap in with herself. She's destined to be back into her femininity. Yeah. She's not giving her energy and her essence outside of herself. I feel like I have, like, really tapped in because I'm abstinent. Like, I don't have to be loud about it. I don't have to be aggressive. I don't have to show and tell. Like, I can show you that I can lead by not even, you won't even know that I'm leading because I'm silent with it. Yeah. You know, most women are like that, but we are getting away from, like, the true essence of ourselves because we are falling into these, like, social norms, thinking, like, sex is the answer, or sex is gonna keep him, sex is gonna, having a good pee is gonna make him love you. Yeah. Absolutely not.
But you know, that's, when you said that, something clicked in my head, and I'm like, okay, I think men understand that to an extent. Men understand that something goes on when women have sexual partners, multiple sexual partners. And I think the pair bonding is a thing as well, but I think that if you go back to why women probably are open to having sexual partners, that's the root of it. Because if a woman is, again, not confident with herself, has abandonment issues, has to have sex with people to feel closeness, that is the core of why she's having a hard time connecting with you. So it's not only about pair bonding, that might be a part of it, but that plays a factor too. But at the same time, these same men are also the ones who expect women to have sex, like, by date number 3, you're supposed to be having sex with me. So it's like, what's the middle ground? Because you don't want us to have multiple partners, but all of you guys are expecting sex by the 3rd date.
And then I think as well, like, they don't like competition. Like, oh, so you mean this woman is sexually experienced, so I gotta compete with that?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what you're doing. I don't really know what I'm doing. You know, I think they fear competition and fear when a woman is, like, confident sexually, like, she's dominating the sex room, like, she's fucking you. You're not fucking her. You don't gotta do that. That's a whole different level, and that's why they want a woman that's a virgin, or even a younger woman, because she doesn't have a lot of bodies, because they fear competition too.
So again, it's like, what is the middle ground? And do men really know what they want then? Because they want you to be like an experienced porn star who didn't have sex with anybody, and they want you to not have a lot of bodies because of the pair bonding, but they still want you to have sex by the 3rd day. So it's like, what is it that y'all really want?
Yo, and you cannot please them. That's why I would tell women, like, do you, because they really don't know what they want. It's just like, until men stop being so easy, and I feel like they need to build their confidence the most, and like, they need to have boundaries. They really need self-love and healing. Then these conversations, like, hello, like, you're not gonna be pointing fingers at women saying women need to be held accountable. You shouldn't be a single mama if you know, like, hello, because it takes 2 to tango, buddy.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I think, like you were saying before, it's up to us to stop this culture. And someone commented on my YouTube videos and made me think of you, and they were like, I mean, women can't see men having sexual partners the same as men see women having sexual partners. And I said, but I can. I can choose to be like, a man, to me, who is still in the phase of having a lot of sexual partners, you are not ready for a commitment. Because if you were ready for a commitment, you will understand the value and the importance of focusing on one woman. So if we as women identify those men and we're like, absolutely not, I need someone who needs to focus on me, and that's the only way you're going to get it, then men will fall in line. Because they're always going to do whatever it takes to get sex. But we are responsible for setting the boundaries of what it takes to get sex.
Man, why do you think some women, like, still involve themselves with men that has sex with multiple women?
So I've heard multiple theories on this. Some people feel like it's attractive because the man is experienced and he knows what he's doing. And to an extent, that could be the case. I have heard men say that they have issues with commitment, and that's why they want to have sex with multiple women. In my head, I'm like, I can change this person. And this is what I was telling you before. I find something in you. It's like something happened where you can't commit. I'm gonna figure out what it is, and we probably could connect on that, and then we'll have a deep bond. So I think that subconsciously a lot of women do gravitate toward that, because like a healing aspect, you feel like you can fix this
healers.
person.
That's what I'm saying. Women, we are the healers.
We love trying to heal people, but we have struggled to heal ourselves.
That's what I'm like.
That's the word. Girl.
That's what I'm like. Imagine if we put all this energy, we trying to save somebody. If you don't save yourself, sus, like, we got, of course, like, you saving yourself, you're gonna end up saving other people overall.
Speak on that. What do you mean?
Like, if you save yourself, you're destined to save other people, because it first starts with you. They be saying in the airport, like the airplane, you first got to put your mask on before you put on anybody else's mask. So knowing just like the inspiration women have over men, the reason why OnlyFans is going up is because men paying for that.
True.
Imagine if women are not selling themselves for sex. How can that business even flourish?
Exactly. And somebody's buying, so they all try to shame it, but it's like, you in business for a reason, right? Porn been around since the beginning of time, child. Like, why do you think women gravitate toward men with sexual partners, with a lot of sexual partners?
Man, I'm telling you, the alphas are attractive as fuck. When you just lead and you're dominant, we really like to be soft. Like, women, we like to just let you lead and tell us what to do and be aggressive. Like, we like that. And those usually the men that know, like, they know they worth, they know, like, how easy women are to do that to. Like, all I gotta do is, like, grab her chin and, you know, that's all I gotta do. We like that. Like, you know, just touch her here. It'd be so simple to get us, like, around. And most men are not that confident enough to do that, though.
So it's like, I think accountability needs to be on both sides.
We do.
Honestly, because it's like, just hearing all of this, it's like what you just said, we need to not be as easily accessible, I'll say. Because I hate when people say easy, you know what I'm saying? But we can't be as easily accessible. But then on the other side, men need to understand that when we do start to have those standards, y'all better not pressure us to do otherwise, because we are holding ourselves to a higher caliber. And if we both do that, then I think we would definitely see better success with dating.
Oh my. Then, the pool not gonna have no doo-doo.
Sewer water in it at this point.
And we really all start holding ourselves. Like, we all need boundaries. Men need boundaries. Like, women need boundaries. Like, we all need to start taking things slow.
Yeah, that's what I'm learning. I'm learning, like, slow with everything, and not even just sex, but just not letting your feelings get involved super quick and clouding your judgment, because when you do that, I feel like you start to feel a sense of ownership over people. And so I'm really trying to get into the frame of mind where it's like, I learn how to love someone without feeling like I own them. Like, I respect your autonomy. We are both coexisting in this space together, and that's really what I'm trying to move toward.
What does that look like? Because you don't know.
Oh, girl, I feel like I have not found that yet. And to some extent, like if I try to have that way of thinking, I feel like men, so the last man who I tried to have that type of dynamic with, he felt a kind of way about it, because it was like, so it was a situation where I was not ready to have sex, and he's someone who I would say he's an alpha, you know, very successful, tall, tattoos, like all the things that women like, right? So I'm realistic, and I know I'm like, here, there's gonna be women who are gonna be throwing it at you, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I'm not gonna control you. We're dating, we're not in a relationship. You do whatever you want to do. Men don't like that. You would think that men like that. They don't like that. They like for women to be like, no, I want you to be locked down on me, because then it's like, wait, you're respecting my boundaries? You gonna let me do what I want to do? They don't know how to react to that.
They don't. Like, hold on, you confident?
Exactly. What do you mean?
You confident?
Yeah.
You got self-love?
Yeah. So verbatim, the guy told me, he was like, yeah, when you told me that, like, it threw me off. I'm not used to women telling me, like, what do you mean? Are you out here talking to other guys? And I'm like, I'm really not, but I'm just not ready to have sex with you. So I understand you have needs. Do what you got to do. They don't like that.
And then, we let them have their needs.
Yeah.
Their little fixes.
Yeah.
I'm like, because that's the only way. It's crazy that men feel like that's the only way they can really feel good by having sex.
But is it because they were never taught how to feel good in other ways?
I'm telling you, a lot of men don't even know how to be a man. They like, what is a man? I would love to know, what is a man?
I was just about to ask you that.
What is a man?
What is a man? What is a man? Because it's like, no, seriously, when I think about it, it's like, I was never taught that growing up. What does a man look like? If you don't have people teaching you that, and then you don't have the men present to emulate, what a man is, how do you figure out what it is? And I think that people don't know what a man's supposed to look like and what a woman is supposed to look like. So we're equally struggling. But I would say struggling. We are, girl, child. Like, we are like in these bodies. Our biology is telling us that we're a man or woman, but we don't understand all the other things that come along with that. That's shameful. But man, what is a man? Oh, God.
That's another. What is shit?
I'm stuck.
What is a man?
I would say that a man is someone who they have the discipline, right? I think discipline is a big thing to be able to lead effectively. There's a lot of men nowadays who think that just because they have a penis that they're supposed to run the household, and they don't know what comes along with doing that. So you are essentially supposed to make your woman and your children feel safe. Safe can be like physical protection, but I should also feel emotionally safe with you. And in order for me to feel emotionally safe with someone, I have to be with someone who also has a sense of vulnerability with me too. So I think it's a balance of like all the masculine bravado things that we talk about, but you still have a balance and you're in touch with your more feminine characteristics.
Yo, I love that was power. You really have to be in touch with your heart.
Yeah.
Come on, we all got a heart.
Yeah. To some extent. Some of us might have to chip off the ice that's on it a little bit, but yes.
Wow. I like that. Because that's what most people just like say, I'm a man. I'm like, okay, what is that?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Exactly.
Because I'm like, I see you as equal to me. Like, I don't see no superior.
Yeah.
I don't see no, like, I should be submitting. Like, I don't see none of that. Like, you're a man, I'm a woman, okay, we just in these bodies, but what's your real spirit look like?
Yeah. And that's the thing, I don't think it's anything that should be superior. It's just understanding that you both bring different strengths to the table. So it's like when you are both bringing strengths and you're most powerful together, but once you start to have that mindset that I'm better than you, or things like that on both ends, if a woman felt the same way, that would be a problem. Because like, how do you coexist with a person like that?
Wow, thinking like someone is weaker than you.
Yeah, because they say that all the time with women who are independent. They'll be like, well, if you're independent, then how do you be in a relationship because you're independent? And I'm like, well, can I say the same thing to you? If you're super independent and you feel like you don't need anybody, how do you feel like you need me as a woman? I could say the same thing to you.
Wow. Yeah, but it's like men don't get like, it's like only women get shamed for wanting to be alone or being alone or being single. Like a man can be single, a bachelor.
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with a woman just not, settling?
So they'll think you're a hoe. I've seen this literally at least 5 times within like the past day. Single equals ran through. Single equals hoe for the streets. And it's just like, no, it doesn't.
Oh my goodness. I don't want to just be in your bed. That's
Exactly.
Like, that's what I'm like, she for the streets?
Right. Yes.
She for the streets because she don't want to be in a relationship. And I'm like, we have to unlearn all of these paradigms that we have been like accustomed to thinking about singleness and a relationship. You gotta learn all of that because that's what's keeping everybody boxed in.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, we're not in the 1980s anymore. Like, we in 2020.
Exactly.
Like, we moving futuristic out here. Cars about to be able to fly.
Yeah.
Y'all better stop playing.
Yeah.
Like, y'all better get with it.
Yeah, I think that it's really this struggle with, in our heads, we want traditional things, but we're also trying to balance them with modern ideologies. And I feel like it's like very much conflicting. I remember I was having a conversation with someone once, and they were talking about this exact thing, what I just said, and they were like, when you watch like home decorating shows, you either have a traditional style home or you have a modern style home. If you try to have both at the same time, it clashes. It doesn't go right. And I was just like,
so what is modern? Like, what is a modern woman?
I've been trying to reflect, like, am I a modern woman? I think that modern is anything that isn't where you feel like you should stay at home, like you wouldn't be willing to stay at home with the kids, cooking, cleaning, just fully submitting, like anything outside of that bracket. If you feel like you should be able to level up, be independent in a career sector, you don't want to have kids, you don't want to get married, those would be more of modern ideologies.
Modern.
Yes.
Oh my God. But how did we know our ancestors really wanted to be traditional? They had no choice though. Like they had no choice but to stay at home.
But that's the thing though, and they love bringing that up. Like, why aren't relationships lasting the way that our grandparents did? Do you know that grandmothers was really out here trying to poison their husbands? Putting stuff in their food because they couldn't leave the marriage, but they didn't want to be there anymore.
Literally, they didn't really want that life.
Seriously.
I feel like we gotta really do it for our ancestors, like the ones that didn't have the chance to like live out their dream.
Yeah.
Like they didn't have bank accounts back then. That's why they so pissed that women can be able to pay for shit now. Like we have money, like we're free.
Yeah.
We really, yes, and I think that's what they really hate. Like we're free. Like,
well, yeah.
We're really free as hell to do whatever we want to do.
Exactly. And I was thinking about that earlier today, and I was like, wait a second. They didn't want women to be able to do all this stuff. Well, why is that? Because when you sit here, that's a manipulation tactic. When you take away people's resources to things, and now the only way that you can have resources is by relying on this person, you force them to need you. So that literally forced the nuclear family that they tried to push for so long.
Wow.
And then once we now had those things for ourselves, to some extent, I don't think that feminism was good in certain ways, especially for black women, but I think in general, if you just think about women being able to do what they want, that removed that sense of I need you. We're not in a codependent relationship, which people see as negative, but codependent relationships are not positive. Right. It's a very, very bad thing.
I low-key rather be hyper independent than codependent.
My goodness gracious.
But that's what I'm like, wow. You know, as a black family, as black women, I don't think we ever not stayed at home. Like we all, black women always was working. Like we was never not, at home. No, we was always working. But the nuclear family really took us away from like the village mentality, like the tribalness that we should all have. Like, that's why I'm like, I think we should get back into like tribalness. Like, coming together as one, like, but we all separate, like, oh, it's my family, my cub, like mine. We're not about we no more.